One hail, welcome back to the channel, and yes, finally, today we're going to be going back and finishing, or well, continuing I should say, our look at some of the Transformers Beast Wars KOs that I started some time ago. And today we're going to round out the last of the Beast Wars Neo KOs that I have by way of Mach Kick-ish. He'll be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and it'll let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below, and also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is a horse. And Mach Kick is a horse. And you might be looking at this and saying, I know Mach Kick. That's not quite Mach Kick, and you're right, of course, it's a KO. And there are certain liberties taken, there are certain cost-cutting measures taken. Keep in mind as we go through here, and the score that I'm giving it is because it's only $3 Canadian. When we compare it to things that cost more, things that have more engineering stuff, obviously the score wouldn't be as high. So you have to look at it through the caveat of an original, an adaptation, I guess, of an original Beast Wars mold, and the fact that it was only $3 Canadian. Is this horsey boy any good? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And yes, here indeed we have Mach Kick, or, well, Mach Kick-ish, if you will. Of course, this is the KO. For those that are not aware, we have been looking at a number of Beast Wars KOs over the years, done by Montoy. And most recently, we looked at a KO of Beast Wars Neo Break in episode 1084. Beast Wars Neo Break was 1085. Stampy was 1084. And a KO of Long Rack that's surprisingly good was episode 1107. Then we kind of got sidetracked because a whole bunch of new product came in and whatnot that I really wanted to get to, but we're getting back to Mach Kick. He is the last of the Beast Wars Neo KOs that I have, and let's just say he has his good points and his not so good points. For those also not in the know, Beast Wars Neo Maximals were led by Big Convoy, or well, he was a unit because there was like a whole like council of convoys or something. And under Big Convoy's command, there was Stampy, Break, Long Rack, Karada, or Colada, some people, depends on the translation, Heinrad, which is that weird Tanuki or like raccoony thing with the like clock in his chest or his tummy, and Mach Kick. Now there were others along the way that were Maximals, but this was like the main, I would say the main core, like Randy, Lyle Convoy was in Beast Wars Neo a little bit, Sharp Edge, Bump, Great Convoy, but they're not the main, we'll say the main cast, right? So, since I mentioned those names, here he is next to, that's right, next to all of his Beast Wars Neo compatriots, if you will. Obviously the colorations are off if you know the actual releases, just a couple of quick examples that stick out. The thighs of Long Rack shouldn't be red, they should be gray, for example. The entire, I'm going to say giraffe head should have a separate arm that comes out of it instead of being the arm, so to speak. Not really an arm coming out of it, it should have an accessory coming out of it that it doesn't have. Stampy is over there, and I don't know, Stampy should have gray on the ears and down by his tail. Break should be more black and white than blue and white with some yellow. It is what it is. But nevertheless, this very much makes me really want a version of Big Convoy, especially now that Legacy United has really kind of shown that we're getting a Magmatron, right? Like, come on. If we're getting the Beast Wars Neo Predacon leader, come on. We really need... And I know a couple of years ago there was the reissue of the original, and I'd be fine with the original. Do another reissue, or I'd be fine with the original. It was great. If you're going to do an update, though, of one leader, I don't know, maybe consider doing an update of the other leader. Make of that what you will. Let's get into Mach Kick and his scores. Oh, Mach Kick, where do I even begin with you? Let's start with the lower legs and work our way up. So we should have feet to come out here. By rights, the feet come out on the other side. And you can keep the lower legs turned around the other way to give him proper shins and feet. However, in doing so, you're going to lose knee articulation for the most part. I'll show that a little bit later. So I do turn them around, which is more reminiscent of the official Mach Kick. But right down in here, we should have a red foot that flips out. We don't have that. The thighs shouldn't be red. They should be white with gold highlights. The pelvis should be red, so that's correct. The tummy should be white with gold, and the chest red with a little gold in the center. All of that's correct. The horse head arms shouldn't be red, it should be white, and the head should be a separate piece with a mane sticking out, because there's a spring-loaded gimmick in the head. The head here is all one piece, and the mane is there, and it's part of his arm. So a lot of, I guess, KO cost-cutting measures taken with that arm. When it comes to the other arm, we do have the part over the shoulder. That's the way it should be. The upper arm, if I'm not mistaken, should be kind of a gray color with the lower arm being red and the hand being white, but the entire arm is red here. Also, we've lost the elbow that arm has. That arm's supposed to have an elbow, this one doesn't. But again, we'll get to that when we get to articulation. And his blaster should be a blaster, and there's actually like here that comes away with it to be part of the tail. Here, you just put the all plastic tail in his hand like a whip, we'll say. And then we get to the head. The mouth section, that should be silver. Around the eye should be red. His mouth section is silver. Around his eyes, however, is not red. It's also silver. The eyes should be yellow. They're green here, I think. The crest on his head should be blue, and it's green here as well. So if you look at it at a glance, I think you'd say, oh yeah, that's Mach Kick. When you look at it and size it up next to the original, I think you'd very quickly realize, that's a KO. So I'm going to say, though, for capturing the look of Mach Kick, considering that they compromised on the arms and on the lower legs, I'm going to say it's still a solid 8. Like, I recognize it as Mach Kick. Now, you may have noticed we didn't do the Montoy packaging. We've done the Montoy packaging a billion times. I don't think we really need to do it again. I mean, if you want to see it, you know, again, here it is. I'm not going into it. I said it was Starscream, but somebody corrected me on who it is. I think it's somebody from Unicron Trilogy that's on the front. And then on the back, we had all of the proper, I guess, pictures for the official characters, not their KO counterparts. So the pictures on the back are a little bit misleading. They're called Wild Beasts, and they transforms from robot to wild beast. Collect them all. You know, honestly, the packaging that was used for Break and Stampy was infinitely more hilarious and funny than this. This isn't that bad. It's nothing that special on it. Okay, so let's do the articulation now that we're at an 8. So we have a head that doesn't move. This piece can go up and down. And the shoulders on ball joints, so it can go forward and back, all the way out. No elbow, no wrist. That's a bummer. No waist. One of these sections here likes to come off of the ball joint. It's tolerance terribly, so that's going to fall off during transformation, just so you know. This arm over here is on a ball joint, can go forward and back. And there's kind of an elbow in here, but it's really just more like a gorilla arm elbow than it is anything usable. The head, unfortunately, is all one piece, which means you don't really have like that usable melee whip accessory thing, I suppose, that his head becomes. Taking this out to the side and this out to the side, with these out of the way, the legs can get all the way out to the side. This is the one that falls off, see? Can go back, can go forward. Knee, very deep, but by rights you're supposed to, according to the KO, leave it this way to give him a proper shin, but then you get like no knee. So I still say turn it around. And that's about it. I mean, very, very basic articulation. This ball peg is fine, but the port that it goes into is not for transformation, so that's a bit of a bummer. I'm going to say that the articulation can stand all right. I don't know, the articulation's 5.5 maybe 5.5. So right now this guy's maybe a 7, you know, 6.5, 7, 6.75, let's say that. I'm going to take this out of his hand. We're just quickly going to attempt to do the transformation. I say attempt because, again, this piece likes to fall off. So we'll see how well this goes, but yeah. Right now, I mean, a 7 or a 6.7. I'm going to say a 7 because even there now he's standing up pretty well, right? Okay, let's do the transformation and then get out of here. So, the head goes back, and I think that arm goes up like that. I might totally mess this up, guys, and if I do, I apologize. Yeah, that goes up, and then that goes in. Yeah, exactly like that. So you'll notice that as this goes up, we have 2 little tabs here. They go into 2 slots on the back. We're not going to do that just yet, though. But I'm just trying to kind of set myself up for success a little bit here, at least. I said no waste. I'm wrong. I lied. It is a waste. Yeah, I'm going to easily say a 7 for his articulation because of the waist. My mistake. I apologize. So yeah, 7 for the articulation and 8, I said, for the look. So he's not currently getting a 6.75 or a 7. He's currently at 7.5. My mistake. I hope that clears it up. 7.5. We're going to see how the transformation goes here. But you can kind of get an idea of how at least some of this is going to go. Okay. The legs, we got to turn them around and turn them around. Straighten that out. Straighten that out. Put the legs here together. Oops, I turned this the wrong way. This has to be this way. I know it has to be this way because these legs have to go up under here. And a little tab here, a little round tab here and here will go up into slots here and here. And this arm should be right there, like kind of, I don't want to say in the way because it's not in the way, but right, like straight out, I do believe. So we're going to bring all of this up and it should all go up under the horse body. And there's no real, I can't find a way to really finesse it up under the horse body. It's just push it until it gets in there, honestly. Oh, and I guess I should actually put the tail in now before that becomes a thing. That's a nuisance. Got that one in. Got that one in. Good. That's the back end of Mach Kick all done. Then we have this ball joint here that collapses up, and all of this should be able to come out and should collapse in over right there like that. Obviously I have to do the same on this side, but that means putting the piece on that likes to pop off. I'm going to do that off screen just to make sure that I get it fit in, and then we'll put the head in place. I will note this now. You have to make sure that the head is pushed all the way up, and then there's a round tab that goes into a circular hole up here, and same down here. I do that because then it holds both of these pieces together and I don't have to worry about the one that falls off. Then when we come around to the back here, what's going to happen is the head will fit in, and this round tab and this round tab will go into these 2 round holes, and this will fit up over this little ridge here, so that in the end our buddy Mach Kick looks like, and yes, here indeed, boom, we have Mach Kick in his horse mode. Again, a little bit stylized, and I know that the end of the transformation there was probably a little mucky, we will say. The reason being, because A, that one panel does like to fall off, and then B, trying to actually I guess squeeze everything together, give it that like last final squeeze can be a little bit of a nuisance. We all know that the original Beast Wars in a lot of ways was panel-tastic, and Mach Kick is no different. Nevertheless, this is all right. Like, granted, his hooves shouldn't be red, they should be blue, and his tail should actually be bushy, and his mane should be up, and his head itself should be a separate piece, but come on, it's like a blue horse. It's Mach Kick. Come on. I'm going to say, though, the transformation isn't bad considering it's a KO. I'm going to give the transformation a solid 8.5, honestly. I think it's a pretty good transformation, and if you have a KO copy and your piece doesn't fall off, like mine does, it's even better. I might even thicken that ball peg up or something. We'll see. Nevertheless, I mean, to me, not too bad, not too shabby. I'm going to say overall score for the guys about an 8, which, again, comes with the caveat that that's a KO 8, right? When you compare this 8 to like mainline transformers and actual official product and stuff, this is more like a 5, 5.5. But for what it is, as an homage and a KO of the original, and for what is given up here, I think an 8 is still a pretty respectable score overall. And here we are once again, and here he is. So in terms of like looks, it's obviously a little stylized, but it's correct enough that you're gonna know it's Mach kick for sure. The mold is a little bit rough, especially in the arms where he's kind of stuck with gorilla arms, and the whole head of the horse is just one solid piece. However, that being said, all of the panels and stuff hanging off and whatnot was kind of cumbersome on the official anyway. The only real gripe that I have here is that one ball joint where that one piece, I think it's this side, keeps falling off. Otherwise, everything else I can kind of live with fine enough, I guess. Would I like to have an official, a real Mach kick or an update? Yeah, sure, why not? If it functions well. If I like bought a full-on deluxe and it was like this, I'd be disappointed, no doubt about it. If I bought the official Mach kick, I'd probably be okay with it, but I still wouldn't like everything kind of knocking into itself and each other. As it is, for $3 Canadian, this fills the bill for a Beast Wars Neo iteration of Mach kick. Perfect? No. Good enough for $3? Yes. Let me know what you think about old KO Mach kick. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring. Or of course, hit that join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, please hit the subscribe button, stick around, and have some fun with us here on the channel. And especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, right here inside the videos.